Hello, and this is Pink Olay Crochet coming to you with another project. For this project, we're going to be doing the coral bunny hat, which will match the coral bunny scarf. So for this project, you're going to need your coral ZZ yarn, and then your white ZZ yarn. And of course, you will also need your G hook and a pair of scissors and your yarn needle. And you might also want to get a measuring tape and one of these little pom-pom makers, which I just tried out for the first time and found out that these things make it much easier to do your pom-poms. But of course, if you do not have one of these or don't want to get one, you can also, there's other methods that you can use, and I will show you how later on in the video. But right now, we're gonna go ahead and get started with our coral bunny hat. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a slip knot with our coral color. And we're going to chain 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And then what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet in each chain. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 12 is how many you should have. Now, you're going to chain 1, and you're going to turn, and you're going to single crochet in the back loops only. Okay, so now that I've finished that, you can see we have a small ridge. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to chain 1 again, and this would be row 4. Now, you're going to continue to repeat round 2, which is the chain 1 and single crochet in the back loops only, until your hat measures 23. So 23 inches. 23 inches would be the I guess average head size for an adult woman. Now, if you get to 23 and let's say it's too big or too small. So if it's too small, you just want to keep going until it fits your head, which you can take it and just wrap it around your head. You want to wrap it around your head without it being stretched. So the ends need to touch without it being stretched. And if it is too big, then just you just take some of the stitches out until it fits correctly. And you would do the exact same thing. You'd fit it around your own head or whoever's head you are making the hat for. And it needs to go around, like I said again, without stretching. Ends touch without stretching. So you're gonna keep doing the single crocheting in the back loops only until you get your head size or whoever's head size you are making the hat for. I'm gonna go ahead and do this part off camera, and then once I finish, I will come back and I will show you what the next step is. Okay, so I went ahead and finished my actual band for my hat, and as you can see, this is what it looked like. Mine's did not go up to 23 inches. It was actually 21 and a half. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut off a good amount of yarn there, and we're going to finish off our band here. So finish that off. So there we go. And now what we're going to do is just going to put these two together. So I'm going to get out my my little yarn needle here. I'm going to thread my yarn. And if you don't have a yarn needle, you can easily just slip stitch the two of them together. Your ends, you can just slip stitch them together, but I like to do mine with a needle if I can ever get it into the hole. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I'm just going to put them together like this, and when I sew up my ends here, I'm gonna use one here, and then this one would be a chain, because this is where we began. So I'm going into, I guess this would be the front loops here, and then into the chain. Actually, I need to go this way. Just trying to make it less noticeable. There we go. And then we go back and forth. Just like that. Okay, and to finish off, just go right back through there, and then through this loop here, right there, and secure it tightly. And then what you do is you want to kind of flatten it out, and then you want to just pull it as tight as you can, and then you want to take it and weave it in and out of the stitches, and all the way until you get to the end, and you just pull it out through there like that, see? And then we just cut off that extra. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and we're going to get started with our hat. And now we are going to chain 50 chains. We're gonna do 50 chains. So that was one. And now that we have chained 50, we're gonna chain one more for the turning chain. So you're gonna have 51 stitches. Now what we're going to do is we're going to half double crochet in the very first chain, and then our repeat for this round will be, we'll skip one stitch and then 2 half double crochets in the next stitch, and you just want to continue to do that. So the repeat is we skip one chain, half double crochet, put 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. So skip one chain and then 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. And then when you get down to the very end, you're going to put 1 half double crochet. So I am going to go ahead and finish this up off camera, and then when I get back, I will show you what you need to do next. Okay, so now that I have finished row 1, you should have something that looks like this. I went ahead and I chained 1, and now what we're going to do is we are just going to single crochet all the way to the end. So just one single crochet in each stitch all the way to the end. Round 2, we're going to go on to round 3. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to turn our work, and we're going to chain 1, but we're going to chain 1 with our white. So we're going to chain 1 with our white, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to leave that there. And we're going to go ahead and do our half double crochets. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the chains that I skipped in the beginning, which are down here. So the chains that I skipped are all down here, so you just have to kind of pull it apart a little just to see. So pretty much there's like, so this would be our first half double crochet here. So we're going to do 1 half double crochet in the one I skipped, which would be, okay, here, let's see. Let's just pull you in so you can actually see. So right down here. So if you can see that right in here is where I skipped it. So I'm going to do my 1 half double crochet right in there. Uh-oh. And of course, it can be tricky to get it in there, but it only gets easier after this. So there's my first half double crochet. Now, the rest of the pattern that we're going to do is we're going to, just like before, we're gonna skip the one that we already did, and we're going to half double crochets in the ones that have these little holes. See these little holes here? So we're gonna put 2 in there. Okay, so that's 1 and 2. Okay, and then we skip this one, which we've already done. And then we're gonna go into the one right there, right in there where we skipped it. Uh-oh. Okay. This might be the hardest part of this pattern because of the fact that it's really hard to see where you skipped them because they're so tiny. But they are there. I just gotta find them. Okay. Okay, so 1 and 2. And then we skip. I'm going to skip. Where is it? So hard to find. All right, so we skip this one. Here's one right here. So this here would be our first one. Then, because when we did the single crochet, we put 2 in, so I think our next one would be here. So there's an easier way. So right here, 1 and 2. Just pull that. Actually, I don't want that shown, so there. Okay. So, and then, so the pattern is we skip the ones we did, we half double crochet in the ones that we didn't do. Okay? So you're just gonna keep, you're gonna do that all the way to the end. And I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up off camera. And then when I get back, I will show you what you need to do next. Okay, so I haven't finished, but I wanted to come back and show you because I was having a really hard time finding the chains that I had skipped. So I found an easier way to find them. So for each, we put 2 in each chain. So if you look at the bottom, you can see there are 2 in the chain. So right here, these little spaces right here is where you want to go, because those are the ones that you skipped. So right in here. And you want to go this chain under that. Okay. So right there is how you would tell where you're supposed to be. So that's 1. And that's 2. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna bring you in really, really close so you can see what I'm talking about. So here is 2 double crochets. Since we single crocheted in them, they look like, you know, they're 2 separate and there's a space in between them. But if you look at the bottom, you can see they're going into 1 chain. So that's where you know this right here next to it, is where you want to go. So it's like right down in here, and you can see that right there. So then you just want to put your hook in there, and you do 2 half double crochets. And then again, you would skip this one. You can tell there are 2 down there. So, you know, this next one here is the one that you need to go into. That's the one you skipped. And so 1 and 2. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that in case you were having a little bit of trouble finding the change that you skipped. So I'm going to go ahead and continue this, and then I will come back and show you what to do next. So now that I have finished row 3, I'm going to go ahead and turn my work. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to do a single crochet all the way across. Now, after this row of single crochet, of course you are going to go, you're going to go back to your coral color, and it is simply a repeat of half double crochet in what you didn't have double crochet in before. So once you get finished doing the single crochets all the way across, when you come back, you will be putting 2 half double crochets in the coral part. So you will be going down below in the stitches you missed. So like right here is where you will be putting your coral colors, and it's just a simple repeat. It's 2 half double crochets in the coral colors and skip the white color. Then you do a single crochet all the way to the end. Then you repeat. Then you do 2 half double crochets in the white color and skip the coral color. And then you do your single crochet. And you just keep continuing to do that until it is just the right size for your head, tall, the way the hat is. So you want it to go up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish this up off camera, and I will show you what to do next when we get back.
Are you finished, Mr. Slade?
No, I'm just getting warmed up.
Shame on you, you macho shithead.
Yeah.
and I finished my actual getting to it was 22 inches, but mine's actually stopped at 21 inches, so whatever fits. So I went ahead and did that. Now what I'm going to do, if I can find my scissors. Okay, so I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut my white, because I ended with my pink. Since I started with my pink, I ended with my pink or coral color. So now I am going to take this, I'm gonna pull out a long sewing strand here, and I am going to, a really long sewing strand. If I have more than what I need, that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut that. Okay, and then I'm gonna take and finish this off by putting it through the loop, pulling it through. And then, okay, there we go. I'm gonna take my end. Let me find my, sewing my yarn needle here. Okay, so I have my yarn needle, and I'm gonna take my yarn needle, and I'm gonna thread it with my yarn. Okay, there we go. And now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fold this right in the middle like this. And we're going to simply, starting down here at the bottom, pull that a little tighter. We're going to start at the bottom. We're just going to go through the stitches. And we're just going to go back and forth and sew it together. And then when we get to the top, we're just going to go in there. Then, okay, so you're gonna go back like this. You're just gonna go into the stitch, and you're gonna go to the next stitch. And you're just gonna go back and forth and back and forth. And of course, this will be the bottom of your hat. And then the top will be the top of the hat, and this is the back of the hat. So we're gonna do that. Once you get finished sewing and you're all the way up here at the top, what you're going to do when you get up here to the top is you're going to take and you're going to weave this in and out of these stitches. And you're going to pull tight because you want to make this kind of curl up like that so that you can put your pom-pom at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue. So, and I know this may seem as if it is like really huge, but when we come back, we're going to take and we're going to sew our band here that we have. Let me bring you out some. Okay, so we're going to sew this, and we're going to sew it here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to flip it up so that it won't be so tall, and that way we can have plenty of room. So this will be scrunched, the top part will be scrunched. So you put the pom-pom up there, and then of course you can always flip it up, because I kind of made it too long actually, or too wide actually is what I did. So at the beginning of this, if you would like to make it smaller, you can play around with the pattern, and instead of chaining 50, you can do 40, or you can do 30, and see how that turns out in the width size. But remember that you might want to measure your head to see how tall you would like, or you can measure a hat that you already have. Remember that when you make your band, your hat will needs to be the same width as your band. As you can see, mine is the same width. That's why I stopped and I didn't go to 22 inches. It was actually just 21 inches. So again, we are going to sew up our hat here. And you're just gonna go in and out of each and every stitch, and you want to make sure that you pull tight enough that it closes. Sometimes it gets tangled because it's so long. But you want to pull so that you can close it up. And the reason for it being so long is because I want to be able to do all of this. And then I want to be able to go around the top of the hat here. And I don't want to have to go back and grab more of my yarn. And this way, it'll be secure because it'll be all the way up here and around. So there is, you know, a guarantee that it won't come off. And then what I can do is I can put these two together at the end. If I go all the way around, and I can pull really tight and then secure it through this one to bring everything together. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to do this off camera, and then when we get back, I will show you how to sew on your band to the bottom of the hat. Okay, so now we're going to do the last part of this video, or this hat actually, and the video. So what I did was I just flipped this up like that, and what I'm doing here is I'm just going to attach my yarn. I'm just going to tie this into a knot on to my hat. I just put it through one of the stitches, and I'm just going to tie it twice around my hat to secure it. And then I'll put the ends in later. This part is where we sewed it together, so we want to move that either to the side or the back. And what we're going to do is we're just going to put this over, just like this, just like I had it before. Like that. Okay, that is perfect. Now, I've already threaded my yarn needle with the yarn. And now I'm just going to sew. So I'm just going to line them up. And you want to pull it through here. And I am going to, so you don't have to sew through the hat to secure it. You can just do it like this if you want to let the hat down or something. But for me, I'm going to sew through like this. And I'm just going to go back and forth all the way around the hat. And that's actually it. Once you're done, you can actually start enjoying the hat. So in it, I would go through here. I'm gonna try to get as close to the edge as I possibly can. Okay, and then we're just gonna sew, like I said again, all the way around, and then you are done. You're done with your hat. You can start wearing it and everything. And I just wanted you guys to know that this hat actually came out a lot thicker than I expected it to, because the yarn itself is not thick at all. So at the end, when I'm actually filling this hat, it is quite heavy. So this hat would really be good if you're going to a very, very cold and windy place. So I hope you guys like this tutorial on how to make the coral bunny hat to go with our coral bunny scarf. And as always, I am Pink Olay Crochet, and I'm saying happy crochet to you.
Are you finished, Mr. Slade?
No, I'm just getting warmed up.
Shame on you, you macho shithead.
Yeah.